What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Sorry for the delay in videos. I just want to be able to put out good content for you guys and decide whatever I want to put out. So hopefully you guys can recommend some video ideas down below. And I'm going to be doing way more videos coming up. I just wanted to make sure that I actually really had the content that I wanted to put out, not just put out some BS videos here and there. So today I wanted to talk about the NHL possibly being delayed next season as well, and it's something that I believe I've touched on a little bit on this channel in the last few weeks. But basically, we all know the NHL is not, like, it's more than likely not coming back this off season, and I've been very vocal into why it shouldn't and why it's a good idea, why the NHL should wait and just let this all recover and everybody heal up. And basically my point of view is I just believe that delaying next season a little bit too would probably help fans get back into the building as well, because this could be a very long process. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because Sportsnet put out an article saying that basically Gary Bettman is talking about the fact that not only will this season have their issues, but next season will as well. And they're not going to rush to start the season in October because who knows, there could still be restrictions going on until that time and even later on. So basically, the article is talking about an NHL Network interview that Gary Bettman said, and he said that if it needs to happen, that they will delay the start of next year. And it doesn't have to be like there's no magic, how did he say it? There's no magic for next season starting in October, as they traditionally do. He also stated that it wasn't a race for them to get back, like, oh, which league is going to get back first. They said November or December could be a possibility, and that might make a lot of sense. They still might be able to play out a good amount of the season. So that's what I was just saying. He said it wasn't going to be a race for anybody, to get back first, at least on the NHL standpoint. So Elliot Freeman also brought up in his 31 Thoughts column, I believe, last week, or last Wednesday, I believe. Basically, they don't want to continue to play fanless games going into next year, so they want to make sure that everything's good, and then next year they'll have the opportunity to play in front of fans. And of course, that's a huge revenue thing. The NHL definitely wants fans in the building. Those ticket sales are what drive them. It helps them, keep the NHL afloat, I guess, even though they're not really in any money trouble right now, although they are losing a lot of money. Trust me, the NHL has the money to be able to survive this, probably even if it happened next year. I'm sure most sports leagues could. It's just, paying out their employees and this, that, and the other, it would become very difficult. So obviously the NHL wants to make sure that they can get fans in the building, and a December start for the 2020-21 season is a real possibility for both the NHL and the NBA. Of course, basketball, if you're not a fan. The league realizes that games with fans this summer are not happening. So again, I have to keep reminding people there's not going to be fans even if there's games, which I don't believe that there will be, because they're saying that the players would have to quarantine without their families for like 3 months. And at this point, during a pandemic, I don't think a lot of players would want to do that. You're going to see a lot of players that are going to say, no, I'm not playing until this is done, which would be the smart decision. Basically, what they're saying is that GMs are probably realizing now that they're going to have to start looking forward to next year. And there's been a lot of pushback, apparently, with them saying, like, oh, well, we need fans next year. Like, so we need to figure this out. We need to make sure things are good. But I will add, and again, people are not going to like me saying this, but the NHL is a footnote in what's going on right now. Hockey is not a priority whatsoever. Next year, it's not a priority. The health and safety of the human race is a priority, and those players are also human. So, you people sucking back, three beers and 4 aero bars on the couch. Sorry, but you can't be making the decisions here. It's the fact of the matter is that this is a health issue, and just because you're angry doesn't mean that they're going to come back with fans and everything's going to be fine. So suck it up, princess, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But a lot of people have been going back and forth on whether or not that the next season will even start in December. So I want to get to that in another video, but let's try to be a little positive here and say that it would start in December. But So Carolina owner Tom Dundon went public with his dislike, and he's not alone. One exec who shares a building with an NBA team says he wouldn't be surprised if the league starts on Christmas Day with the NHL a couple of weeks earlier. So that's, I mean, there's already, different owners sharing their opinions, and, different league owners and stuff like that sharing their opinions and saying that, lots of leagues are considering a late start. And the NBA and NHL are usually pretty close together. Sportsnet Chris Johnson, one of my favorites out there, he joined Tim and Sid recently to break down how it could look like. What would the NHL be doing? So basically, he thinks that next year, if they were to go on maybe December 15th, start around there, or maybe after Christmas on the 27th or 28th, could happen. They mentioned stuff about the Olympics and stuff like that, which I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But basically, the time frame would be they could probably play 70 games if they got rid of the All-Star game and the All-Star break, and bye weeks and other stuff like that. So basically, it would be like, boom, just full-on regular season, which I would be down for. I don't care about the All-Star game. I don't care about the All-Star break. Even if we lose it for 1 year, sure, who cares? I'm gonna be honest with you. I could care less about the All Star game now. When I was much younger, I cared about it, but it's kind of a joke. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. The way that players get into sometimes it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially when players who are much better are not getting into these games. But you wouldn't. I don't think that you'd be able to play a full 82, and that's kind of what Chris Johnson and other people have been saying. But you could get in a possibility of 70 games, which would be really good. So, um, and again, there's a lot of technicality and political stuff behind this, but I try to dumb it down a little bit because it's not fun. That's all we've been hearing lately. But the league doesn't want to force things. Like, this is Gary Bettman might not be everybody's favorite, and I mean, he's not my favorite. I don't hate the guy. I don't know him personally, but I mean, they're talking pretty smart here. They don't want to rush anything. They don't want it to be stupid. And the fact of the matter is, I would support the NHL fully if they were to just cancel the rest of the season. And guys, this people don't get this. It's not that the NHL would be like, "Oh, great, now see you in December." Guys, we still would have, they would have to figure out the salary cap, so then we could move on to the draft. We could do some free agency, which means there's going to be trades. There's going to be a lot of action in between now and the start of next season. So at least it would be fun. Like, you're still going to get some stuff. The NHL will be relevant still. And there'll still be some fun. A lot of it would have to be, like the draft would have to be over, digital. It would have to be like what I believe the NFL just did. But I mean, guys, at least it's something. They would stay relevant a little bit. So basically, Bettman also mentioned that the next step in resuming play would be opening training facilities. But I think he's just saying this stuff just to keep people, again, relevant, to keep relevancy. But these guys getting back into shape, all this other stuff like that is the next step, but it's not going to work. Players are not going to be, wanting to go, like, I'm not going to speak for the players, but I would imagine a lot of players don't want to leave their family at this point, and are not just going to rush to go into a training facility with a bunch of other guys that, who knows what they've been doing. I mean, not all NHL players might be following the rules. I mean, lots of people around the world aren't following the rules of social distancing and other stuff like that. So we can't just assume athletes are doing everything perfect as well. So you have to keep that in mind. There's a bunch of different things that the NHL has to look at here. But in terms of them, delaying next season, I'm all for it if it means that, the players and, the fans' safety is the number one priority, then that makes the most sense to me. So again, I want you guys to leave your comments down below. I know sometimes I can be a little bit like pushy in terms of my opinion on this, but this is a common sense opinion, and I think a lot of people need to understand that that's where I'm coming from, is that you're not invincible to this. Like, you can get it just like anybody else, and these players are 100% at risk, and the fans are 100% at risk if you just rush things back. I see too many dummies in the comments trying to say, like, not on just my videos, but on Twitter and other things, saying that they should just reopen the NHL and sports and everything like that just because they're angry. But like I said, just relax, because they're not listening to you. I'm sorry, they're just not. So again, this is gonna sound so harsh, but they don't know who you are. Like, you can say all these things, but unless you're talking to them directly, they don't know who you are and they're not listening to you. So stop complaining. So if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.